Welcome to today's Explainer. Look, tonight the stakes literally could not be higher. We're staring down a monumental North American doubleheader. Two host nations, Mexico and Canada, are gearing up to defend their sacred home turf against some incredibly desperate and honestly very dangerous European challengers. The atmosphere, it's going to be absolutely electric. The pressure is immense, and we've got all the data and tactical breakdowns you need to see exactly how this might play out on the pitch.
So, the ultimate question we're tackling right off the bat is who survives tonight? Because, man, for the visiting teams, this isn't just a regular group stage game. This is absolute do-or-die reality. These European squads are walking straight into hostile cauldrons of home field advantage. They're trying to crush the host's dreams just to keep their home tournament hopes alive. It's the ultimate survival story.
Match 1, Mexico versus Czechia, the high-altitude ambush.
Okay, let's dive into this. Our first matchup takes us straight to Mexico City, and actually, ambush is the perfect word here. The magic number for this one? 2,240. That's the elevation in meters of the legendary Estadio Azteca. If you haven't played at this altitude before, it literally suffocates you. Opposing players genuinely struggle to catch their breath, so before a single ball is even kicked, Czechia is going to be fighting the air itself. It's this massive, invisible advantage making Mexico virtually unbeatable at home.
And if we look at how both teams got to this point, well, Mexico's record is completely flawless. They're already qualified. They beat South Africa 2-0, followed that up by taking down South Korea 1-0. So 2 matches, 2 wins, and absolutely 0 goals conceded. Now contrast that with Czechia. They are in a really tight spot. They drew 1-1 with South Africa, then suffered a 2-1 loss to South Korea, so they absolutely have to get a win tonight to have any shot at making it out of Group A.
But here's where things actually get kind of tricky. Because Czechia must win to advance, they really have nothing to lose, right? They can't just sit back and play defense. They have to go all out. And a team playing with that sort of reckless abandon, a team highly dangerous under pressure, is exactly the kind of team that can spark some unexpected chaos, even against a perfect Mexican squad.
Which brings us to the million-dollar tactical question for tonight. Will Mexico rest their key players? Think about it. Since El Tri is already comfortably through, they don't actually need to risk their star players. Why risk injuries or fatigue, right? Czechia is desperate for the win. Mexico just isn't. So this one strategic choice by the Mexican manager could completely flip the dynamic of the game. Do you chase the perfect record with your starters, or do you play it safe for the knockout rounds?
And this brilliantly illustrates the total contrast between these two dugouts tonight. On one side, Mexico is qualified, historically dominant at the Azteca, and holding that massive altitude advantage in their back pocket. On the flip side, Czechia is fighting for pure survival. They're going to be literally gasping for air, and they are utterly desperate. It's comfortable dominance versus sheer, unadulterated desperation.
So based on all those overwhelming factors, the prediction here points to a solid 2-0 victory for Mexico. The altitude, combined with their current form, is just going to be too much. A result like this sends Czechia packing and lets Mexico top Group A in flawless style. Honestly, El Tri is looking incredibly strong moving forward.
Match 2, Canada versus Switzerland, the ultimate survival match.
Let's move to our second huge game of the night and see how this builds. We're heading north to Vancouver. Now, Canada is not sitting comfortably like Mexico. For them, the math is brutal, win or go home. But, and this is a huge but, Canada is riding in on an unbelievable 6-0 scoreline. That's how much they absolutely smashed Qatar on their last match. And you really can't overstate what a blowout like that does for a team's psychology. They're riding this massive wave of relentless momentum, they're hungry, their confidence is off the charts, and they clearly know how to find the back of the net.
Breaking down Canada's arsenal for tonight, the very first thing is that home soil advantage. The Vancouver crowd is going to be deafening, giving them a massive psychological edge. Secondly, like we just talked about, they have that relentless momentum. And third, Alphonso Davies. Analysis rightly calls him out as one of the best left-backs in the entire world. His sheer pace and how fast he transitions from defense to attack, it's going to be an absolute nightmare for the Swiss to handle.
However, Switzerland is bringing their own crazy statistic to the pitch tonight. 6. That is the number of consecutive tournaments where Switzerland has successfully reached the knockout rounds. Let that sink in for a second. 6 straight tournaments. They are not intimidated by big moments, they have serious pedigree, and they know exactly how to handle a high-pressure, do-or-die group stage finale.
To counter Canada's momentum, Switzerland is going to rely heavily on what we can call their shield. They boast an extremely solid defense that is historically just super hard to break down. They simply do not give away easy goals. And the guy anchoring all of this is Granit Xhaka. His discipline, his leadership, and just his pure tactical experience in the midfield are going to be absolutely vital. He's the general out there. He's going to try to dictate the pace and completely neutralize Canada's electric energy.
When we look at them side by side, you can see why this is going to be incredibly close. Canada brings the roaring home advantage and the unstoppable momentum of a team that just put away 6 goals. Switzerland, on the other hand, brings that cold, calculated tournament experience and an immovable defensive strength. It is quite literally the classic sports cliché playing out right in front of us, the unstoppable force meeting the immovable object.
So how does a tight matchup like this actually shake out? Well, the analytical consensus points to a really narrow victory for the hosts. The final verdict predicted here is Canada 2, Switzerland 1. The expectation is that Alphonso Davies is going to make a massive impact, maybe even score, and Jonathan David will seal the deal, sending the Vancouver crowd into pure absolute chaos and advancing Canada to the round of 32. It's going to be an absolute thriller.
But hey, now I want to turn it over to you. We've talked about the suffocating altitude from Mexico and that wild clash of styles up in Vancouver. So who do you think survives tonight? Can Czechia pull off a total miracle in the thin air? Is the Swiss defense going to silence Vancouver? Are the hosts going to defend their turf? Or will European experience win out? Let me know your predictions and tactical thoughts down in the comments. And definitely make sure to follow along, because we're going to be here bringing you these clear daily breakdowns of every single match as this whole tournament unfolds. Thanks for hanging out for this explainer, and man, enjoy the matches.